Hello guys, Belle here from the PWNCAST Daily Quest, aka PWNCAST. I have the privilege and the honor to sit down for this month's Legendary Spotlight for the PDQ. For those of you who don't know, the Legendary Spotlight highlights members of the community who are giving back and giving to our players. I am sitting here with a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway because I like embarrassing people. This is Stone from WoW Challenges. Hi, Stone.
Hey, how's it going?
Now that
Look at
I've
you
made you
all
feel
smile.
sufficiently awkward, I am really, really happy that you're sitting down with me and that you and I get a chance to chat and get to know you a little bit on a more intimate, level.
Okay.
Question mark. So,
Okay.
for those of you who don't know, Stone is actually the curator for WoWChallenges.com, which WoWChallenges.com is all about the Ironman, right? Tell
Yep.
us the story of how you came to tell us what it is and then why you took that over.
Basically, it's a website to let people still play WoW when they feel bored. So basically, it gives them stuff to do, right? Because there's many times where we just sit around. Nobody wants to raid. Nobody wants to PvP. And people are like, this game's too easy. Well, we have a way to play it that's not so easy. And even now, with the changes that have come through, people are still saying, the changes made it really easy. And, it's actually not that easy still. So basically, it's just a different way to play it. And it's meant to be a one-on-one kind of thing, not a group thing, although I am kind of working on a raid challenge. Yeah, we have to do stuff, and it's not tested yet. Um,
Awesome.
so I got started with it. I tried the Ironman, I don't know, 2011 or 12 or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, I can do this really quick, and sure, this is going to be fine." And no, I died really quick, and I was like, "I'm out of this. I don't care anymore." And I came and went, and there was a fellow that had the old website up, and suddenly he decided to not do the website anymore, and he just let it lapse. And I I was there initially and was offering to make bug fixes and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
as nobody could reach him, and we tried, nobody could get it. Nobody could speak. Nobody could speak with this guy. It just kind of lapsed, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go make my own website, and I'm gonna work on my stuff, right? And I'm gonna try to make it be the same thing, and so people will be like, okay, well, now we can go here because the old site doesn't work anymore, right? So when it lapsed in, I'm gonna say 2015, early
I want to say
2015.
then because you took over right before you and I connected. I
Yeah,
know it was like in
yeah,
that same, and it was
yeah,
earlier in the year in
yeah.
2015.
So I bought it through an auction, and I have a feeling that the auctioneers bumped up the price because nobody was doing any bids on it until right at the last moment. And I'm like, I am not letting this slip through my fingers. And I know they probably bumped up the price to make it look like other people were trying to bid, so it made me pay more. But I mean, like for me, it wasn't the money. I mean, it would be nice if it was cheaper, but the whole deal there was that we wanted the original website name so that when people go there, they can still go to our website, the new one, and there's none of this like 404 stuff, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And because throughout that year prior to, I mean, I met a whole bunch of people that they loved playing this, and they basically uh, uh, kept things alive. So it was not me. I mean, it was them, and without them, this would be nowhere. So um, I felt that what I should do is to buy it just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get bought by some other guy that wants to sell it for ads or things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just from there, I spam emailed a bunch of people, like 19 different.
You did not.
Yeah, and then I realized, oh, maybe I shouldn't spam email everybody because nobody knows us, and now I'm going to give us a bad name. But for the most part, everybody, helped out, and it's from there. Everybody's helped us so much that that's why I'm like, if I can help it, and you want to do X, Y, Z, like let me know because I feel like I need to give back too, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so. Yeah, I think early 2015, and then I spam emailed everybody around April or May of that year, and from there we moved forward. And it's been an interesting year, that's for sure.
I think you tapped into a part of the community that I think people forget exists. So I think we forget how large this was many moons ago, before all the other fancy things that were added to World of Warcraft. We forget that this was the original. So tell us about, for those watching who don't know what the Ironman challenge is. What is the Ironman challenge?
The Ironman challenge is basically you leveling up to max without ever dying once. That's it. Okay. We add in all these other rules because, you can do that pretty quickly now. So basically we say
Easy
you can,
then.
oh, well, yeah, I mean, and anyone can just go and, hey, I've hit max and great. I can, boost up my tune and hey, I'm at max. So, we've added lots of rules to make it hard. So basically you can't wear armor that's green or higher.
Has to be all white, correct?
White or gray.
White or gray.
And you, well, at one point before the patch, you were not allowed to pick a specialization at all. Now with the patch, now with the patch, you are forced to have one. So that's why a lot of people are saying, hey, it's really easy now. However, we still see lots of people dying. So it's a different game now. And this has always changed to be whatever Blizzard lets us play with.
Right.
So
you keep it within the confines of it being a challenge while still rolling with the changes as Blizzard rolls them out from patch to expansion.
Yep. And with one of the other major things, you can't really use health pots and things like that.
No food or anything like that, right?
You can eat food. You can have food. You cannot eat food to get the strength buff or things like that. You can't do raids. You can't do five. You can't do 5 minutes. You can't do groups. You can't do pet battles. There's lots of rules, but it's meant to be how can you play, and it's meant to be just you
challenge and your personal kind of time.
And not everybody else trying to help you out and stuff. For sure. Right.
And it used to be you couldn't be gilded, if memory serves me correctly. I remember a time when that was a rule where you couldn't be gilded, but I think that probably changed when all the perks for the guild went away, I would imagine. Yeah.
And the main reason why was because at guild level 2, you got plus 5% XP, and level 5, I'm going to say you got plus 10% XP, I believe, or 8 or something like that. And so sure, you couldn't join one because you get a boost, man. And so when they changed it, I think they got rid of guild levels in Mists, didn't they?
No.
Warlords. Then? Okay, so yes, actually, because that's where I said, because when I was trying to make up the rules and all this stuff in my site, I said, well, since guilds don't give you boosts anymore, and really the only good things that come of it is a plus 10% speed boost on your mount, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's not going to make or break you in a,
no, it
you learning
shouldn't.
to survive, right? Because the idea is survivability and how
Yeah,
you can cope
and
strategically with surviving.
you also get your hearth is half the time, right? So um, com- so we said that we wanted to allow guilds because everything's fun with a guild, and
Yeah.
now that we can, everybody's doing guilds, which and people are
They're
yapping,
loving it, I'm sure.
chatting, liking
Yeah.
it, yeah, and so that's one of the better things that we
Because it
had to.
keeps, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, by you guys allowing guilds or even just the rule set there, it makes people really want to do it because they don't have to give up their social while they're doing this
Yeah,
grind. They get to
yeah.
still be with people and not feel like they're alone and still try to push themselves. Like, that's a lot of mental focus to do the Ironman challenge. I don't have
Well,
it
it
in
is.
me at all. At all.
They used to actually chat in a private chat channel, and
Oh, okay.
that's what it was, and that's it. And it's like, well, that kind of. Sure, it's okay, but that kind of sucks, though.
Yeah, I remember in Mississippi and Pandaria, I was when I was recruiting for the guild, I hand recruited. I never did auto inviters or anything like that. Riders was hand recruited.
Yeah.
And I remember when I would message people, I would be questing in a low level questing area, and I would always like the low levels, right? Most guilds want the max, the cream of the crop. I wanted the little guys because when they grow with you, they're loyal
Yeah.
to you. So I would ask people, and they would say, "Oh no, I'm Iron Man. I'm sorry." And at
Yep.
first, I didn't know what that was. And
You
finally,
know what the
finally,
heck,
I
man?
asked a friend, I'm like, what is Iron Man? What does that
What's this
mean?
problem?
And somebody told me, and I was like, oh, why would somebody want to do that? That's
Yeah.
awful. And
Yeah.
then it was somebody who had completed it successfully, and they had explained, the challenge and having to pick and choose. You're not over pulling, and to really have
Oh
to
yeah.
muster a lot of your mental strategy to really make it. And if you're a hunter, not pulling all the things as Hots did when he chose to roll a hunter on the PvP server, remember? And it was a bad time. His pet did all the. It was. He comes in
Poor
here and
Bats.
he says, "I'm dead. 27, and I'm dead."
Oh, was it 27? I thought he said he died
He
at
had
like
twice, so
19.
because
Maybe.
he did it two
Uh,
times. The first time he died at 27, and the second time I don't remember what he was at, but
okay.
ugh, that guy. So
Yeah, it's still it's very much about your brain because now that you have to select fury or arms and all that stuff, you actually do get more things that you're allowed to do and use. And so, back then, you you would only fight things that were 4 or 5 levels lower. Okay, now you can fight 2 or 3 things that are at level, so you have lots of things that you are able to use to live and stuff, but I still see people die, and it's because, oh well, I pulled too many, or I did this, or I did something dumb like that. People still can't do it. There are, since the pre-patch, we've had 3 people hit max, and
ooh,
those are veterans, so they're not noobs or anything like that. It's not new folks. It's just these people have been playing for a long time and they know. And these are the only folks that have been able to hit max since we've had the new specialization changes.
yeah,
So it's still it's very hard to do still. Yeah.
how exciting. So we PWNCAST has always had a long-standing relationship with WoW challenges outside of friendships and things like that as a
Yep.
community, because one of the things that PWNCAST is about is we're about our community and who's giving back, and all the World of Warcraft fame and elite is all wonderful, but at the end of the day, the people that matter most are the people who are doing for the community. I think the service that you provide is a great service to what we do here as players. we strive every day to live in a world where people say World of Warcraft is dying every day, right? This is the struggle we live in. I believe, and I believe the opposite. I think we're Legion's going to bring us in the realm of things we've never seen in our own community. But your your motivation is similar to how we view here at PWNCAST. It's not a monetary motivation. It's not a fame motivation. It's a legit, I want to be part of the community and give back to it.
Yep.
How does that help you deal with some of the struggles dealing with people, right? Because we deal with the community. With that comes its good and its bad. I'm sure you get people that are frustrated, that die, that might get upset about the rules. How do you continue to put on such a happy face and do what you do every day? How do you do it?
You don't know the things that I've seen.
The troubles, the sorrows.
We had I would say a good month or so around June, around there, where this is when we were going to discuss, really talk about what we were going to change, because we knew that we were going to have to allow specialization and stuff, but we didn't know what Blizzard was going to let me use to be able to check that stuff.
Right.
And unfortunately, Blizzard didn't give me one of the tools that I asked for. Just a simple little counter, and so now it's kind of it's out of my hands now, right? And but when you have lots of people that are, I'm trying to think of the right word,
Passionate, or they rely, right? They rely on it, I would imagine, to a certain degree.
They want things either the old way or the new way, but it's hard to change, and it's hard to see. So, and it's hard to get people to be on the same page. And in some cases, I've had to put on the black hat, which I do the black hat, and I'd be the jerk. And I'm like, this is how it's got to be, I guess, right? And I try to listen to as many folks as I can. And some people think I don't, but I try to take as many people into consideration. Also knowing what I'm able to code and all that stuff. So really, it's not about what I do, it's about what everybody else does, right? So we all make the rules. It's just basically if we come to a part where we're all kind of split, or it's just a rule that doesn't really make sense, and it's like people want it old school or something, then I step in, I guess. And I try not to, as much as I can now. And actually, I'm trying to pull myself back because I was getting very much involved in like everything. So you are awesome. But one thing I wanted to say is that while
Husky aggro is never a good aggro during an interview. I have a husky, and she's not even actually she'll be a year old on the 29th. And you know how huskies are in their personalities. She literally is like a toddler. She looked right at me, and I swear she was smiling. Her and my other dog were fighting. So
one thing I wanted to say was that when I first started in on all of this, and I began to listen to podcasts and things like that, honestly, I listened to a good 25 shows in a week, and then the week after that was like maybe 20 or so, and it was just too much. But one of the things that I liked was when I watched your show was that it's kind of I don't want to take away things that everyone else has done. It's just I felt it was more real, whereas you were just saying, here it is, here's our shit, and this is what's going to happen, and let us know. And I like other folks too, so I'm not trying to take away things from that, but that's what's drawn me, and that's
different flavors, right? There's all flavors.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
like other flavors too, and I like other podcasts too. So I think it's just flavors, sprinkling of flavors.
yeah, I just find it hard now for myself to listen to lots of shows. Like I know there's lots of people that can listen to a wide range of shows, and I'm like, I want to, but I literally I can't.
Well,
I
and
just,
that
you
was
know,
actually next on my list. You podcast with one of my favorite people in the entire
uh,
world, Miss Lita. I love Miss Lita. She is one of my favorite women in this community in general. I absolutely love her, and it doesn't have anything to do with her accent, I promise. She is
yeah,
literally one of the beacons of light
yep,
in the motivational world here, and I love her to pieces. But I think when you turn from being just average Joe in the community to actually doing things in the community with podcasting, content creating, I think I scaled back on what I listened to because I found it was poisoning the well, so to speak, and I never
mm,
wanted to accidentally take someone's idea. So I actually don't listen to World of Warcraft podcasts with the exception of yours because yours is a little bit it's geared a little bit differently in that regard. But I don't really listen to a lot of other World of Warcraft podcasts anymore because I didn't want to hear and be like, oh, I want to do that on our show. I wanted to avoid that poisoning of the well and really make sure that I wasn't accidentally taking somebody's really good idea.
yep,
And I found that it was really even on another level. I don't really have time. There's shows that I don't miss, like Row. I watch Row's Realm Maintenance every
yep,
week, and
yep.
there's just shows that are iconic in that regard. But it is hard to listen to a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's
there's time, and like I said, my first week I listened to 25 shows. I think and those shows range between half an hour to 3 hours,
oh my,
and that was for the whole week. And I'm like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I
yeah,
just could not breathe. And then after week two, I kind of cut that back. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, I can't do
yeah.
this, right? And I felt bad that I wasn't listening to everyone. And I'm like, you know what? I think, I just don't have the time. And it's not that I don't like them, because I do. There's some
We love
really
them.
great folks out there.
Yeah.
There's some awesome folks out there. Just I don't have the time. And sometimes I do have the time, and then I go listen or watch. No, and I don't know. So Lita, though, she I could talk about her forever. Uh,
She is a lovely
she,
woman.
when we decided to do the uh, uh, cast, I thought, it would be cool if we had our own thing maybe once a month that we just talk about who hit max and all this kind of stuff. And when I asked her, I kind of said it as like a joke because I figured she's busy, man. Like, and this is her. It's Lita. I was like, this is Lita. So I personally hold her like up here, right? So,
She's podcasting royalty in my like if I
yeah,
see there's a hierarchy in podcasting that I see and we're low on the totem pole and my like Pwnecast is way down here, right? We're just the little guys in the trenches, but she's like
Lita.
Lita's super like on a pedestal in my opinion in the royalty succession line.
Yeah, I mean, I more or less asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want to make a show? If I were to, no, actually, what did I say? I think I said, you probably wouldn't have enough time. It's like passive aggressive crap. I said, oh, you probably don't have enough time, but, I'm kind of thinking about doing to win a podcast. You probably don't want, to run it too, right? And I kind of left because I was guesting on her show, and later that night, he tracked me down and goes, like, let's talk, right? I'm like, oh, I'm like, what? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because this is her, and I'm trying to tell my wife, I'm like, I how do I deal with her because I know she's like up here and I don't know anything, man. I've never done a podcast before, ever, ever, and I mean, even and she's taught me like so much,
She's
and
amazing.
I mean, she's awesome. She's actually doing very well right now. She had we'll not talk about it on air. She's all good, so we're all great. She is
She's a
awesome.
good egg. She's
Good egg.
few of the genuine that I've seen,
Yep.
because we talk a lot about reality and gaming and reality with people. in the industry in general, but she's a good egg for sure. I love her to pieces, literally. Thinking about her makes me really smile. I just literally, I smile a lot when I think about her because I literally love her to pieces. But so podcasting's scary when you get into it. It's a lot of what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing, and I didn't know any of that either. I had to learn as I go, and if you if you watch the older episodes, it's awful. And I look back and I'm like, oh, how precious was I, right? Like, I was so precious that I thought that was amazing quality. I was really happy with that. It's embarrassing. One of these days, I'm going to remake those into not that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's awful episodes. It's all just a bad time. But I think you probably do podcasting for the same reason we do, is we want to connect with people. We want to have that. We want to have that connection.
Well, for me, it's actually not just about that. It's more, I want to show that folks that have leveled up, I want to say, look at these guys.
You want to highlight them.
Yeah. And because nobody did. Nobody ever did. And some of these guys have been playing this thing for years and nobody did anything. And I'm like, how
you're
was
making people champions, which is what we are. You're making them champions.
That's what they were already, right? It's just nobody knew.
Right.
Oops. Podcasting gold right there.
Was that a cat? Was that a cat?
That was me hitting my mic because I'm awesome.
I thought it was you. I thought you swatted the cat.
No, Bob is not here. Bob's upstairs.
That's
I think.
going on the blooper reel.
Oh. Am I allowed to swear?
I say fuck every other word, so have at it.
Well, my wife's in bed, so it might be okay.
That's so funny.
But so basically, when I don't watch any show, I cannot watch it. I cannot hear myself. I can't do it. Leah says you need to get over it and listen so that you can learn. And that's one of the things I still haven't done yet. I'm trying, and I think because we do, because we run it live, right? And it's very simple for me to rip out the sound and make it into to a P3, and I can cut out the in and out and throw that up, and then upload the raw video to the net, and it's done. And I'm done in like a half hour. So I don't need to listen because we run on, if we screw up because we're not pro.
You're not a Nazi like Belle. Got it.
Well, however, Peter's trying to get me to be more, you need to watch this stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I tend to squirrel a lot too now.
It's because she's a woman. That's what we do. Women organize. That's the way we were built, Stone. We were built to come along and to do the laundry and to make sure you have your sandwiches. But that is why we women are here, is to organize and eat sandwiches.
I did not say that.
No, I did.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But a woman's touch, and she, off the record, and to not for nothing, she's absolutely right. I watch the PWNCAST episode at least 4 times each week, and I listen to it on the audio at least twice, because the audio I'll pick up more than watching it. When you're visually watching something, people don't hear the sound issues as when they do when it's just audio only. I watch a minimum 4 days out of the week each episode, and then I listen to it randomly, either driving or something. I QA all week long. She's right. Okay. She's absolutely right. Self-checking is 100% needed, because we won't catch it until we look back, and then we're like, oh, I keep doing that thing with my face, and it's making me look a little, maybe I should stop doing that thing with my face. But she's right. Lita, she's a smart cookie. She knows exactly what she's talking about.
I think one of the reasons why I don't like to hear it is because of how I speak, right? So
I don't hear anything wrong with how you speak.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. So there's some nights I'm okay, sometimes I'm not so good, and it was one of the bigger things that I was worried about doing anything live.
And feeling self-conscious about that, I would imagine.
Oh, heck
I'm
yeah.
pretty
And I
sure
lived with this
to
my
walk
whole
down
life.
memory lane, when you
Um,
first reached out to us and you talked about you
oh,
wanted, I wanted you to come and talk with us, and you said,
yeah,
I'm really worried. I
yeah,
kind of have this speech thing, and I said,
yeah,
and wasn't that my response? And
yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't
Yeah,
care. So
well, and that's one thing that it was a thing, right?
yeah,
Because everybody I heard, no problems, right? Maybe a slight lisp,
yeah,
but nothing big. And I would have to say that I've had no flack. I've actually helped somebody out who actually has the same problem that I do, and that part itself. I mean, it was completely aside from WoW and all that stuff. It was helping somebody out that I know exactly how they feel, and they wanted to do a podcast too. I don't know what happened to them. Oh, and Bob is around. Yay! You're gonna find Bob now. Bob is my cat.
I told you I thought I saw you swatting a cat.
No, no, I wasn't swatting, but I can hear him. He's coming.
So you realize, and this is a message that I think would be really good for those that are watching. Just because yours is spoken, we could hear
Mhm.
yours.
Yeah.
We're all not right on the inside, in case you haven't
Oh, I
noticed. I
know
think
that.
that is the essential,
Yeah.
I think that is the ingredient that you need for a gamer,
Yeah.
is a mixed
Yeah.
bag of you are not mentally stable. So mine is just internal. You just can't hear mine. Well, I mean, you can on occasion, but I promise you there's a lot going on up here.
Well, I kind of often wonder what it would be like if I never had this.
Do you feel like you limited yourself for those that are for
Absolutely.
gamers that are
Sure.
watching, that maybe they feel maybe they have
Sure.
a physical flaw or a physical issue that they're self-conscious of, or you feel like it's allowed you to limit yourself?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you feel about it now, though, now that you've been doing the podcasting, you've been a lot more vocal in the community? Do you feel like it's like whatever?
Yeah, I don't care now.
You don't even care now.
There's some times where it really bugs me where I'm live, like now, and it's like I'll just start, and it's just like just the words are there. It's like, Stone, what the? Just stop, and then we're just going, and we're fine, right?
It's okay.
And
I know what
it
you
was like
mean.
and it was like this at work. So when I got my first real work job, like real work where I'm getting paid a lot of cash, a lot, and I had to speak in front of lots of folks, and I worked for business, and I worked for tech too. So I'm the guy that's in that works in between them. I have to speak to both sides, and at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Even though I've got the skills, it's still the speech, right? After about a month, I'm good to go. So when we did our show, after 2 or 3 shows, I'm good. There's still times where I will back off and let Lee talk, because there's times where I'm just talking and talking and talking. I'm just like, okay, Lee, like you have to talk now, because we look at the notes and we're like, okay, well, here I'm going to talk and I'm going to talk and we're going to we're just having like little notes, right? Like
Yeah,
nothing like
just bullet points,
right,
things that you want to remember to
right.
talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, this is mine, and this is mine too. And it's like, holy cow. So we have to split things up, right? And she takes on so much from me that, if Lita was not with us, like as far as me on for show, I think I would have done the first 1, 2, maybe 3 shows. I think I probably would have run into problems afterwards,
For sure.
and it really comes from learning from her, right? And I I can, like I said, I can talk about her for hours because she's awesome.
How
So
much has you being able to come out of your shell with how you, because I can only imagine how much that must have hindered socially, especially with comms and stuff like that. How much has this helped you in being a part of the community on this level, been able to really kind of help you just be comfortable and even help people? You've even helped people that have had the same,
yeah.
like how inspiring, first of all. Like, I don't want to make you feel awkward and make you feel all weird and do all the warm and fuzzy, but I'm trying not to tear up here because I think that that's an amazing thing when you can reach and connect with somebody that has the same issue or is feeling some type of way in a very judgy world. We live in a very judgy,
Absolutely.
this
Yep.
society sucks as a whole, but
Yep.
gamers, we love each other. You don't have to have any hands. You don't have to have any
Yep.
eyeballs. We love each other for all of our inadequacies is what I'll call them, because essentially that's sometimes
Yep.
what they are. How much has that helped you develop and grow to be able to embrace things about yourself, such as, your occasional, I'm going to call it occasional because I don't ever hardly hear it, your occasional speech issues?
Um, I mean, there are times where if I'm going to meet someone new that it's still there, but then I don't feel as pressured because I know that whatever now because
What are
people
they
have
going to do?
right and people have heard it and people know, and there's some people that didn't know and they kind of make fun of what I just did, and I'm like, yeah, I have a speech thing, and they're like, oh well, sorry, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay because they didn't know, and I have no problem with it because sometimes it's funny. So
Oh,
because that's funny. 'Cause sometimes just like I don't know. Anyway, so I mean, it just comes out weird, and for people that don't know that, the first thing that they do is that they laugh because that's how you get through feeling weird and all that is you laugh and you make jokes, right? And they're not doing it because they're trying to make you feel bad. They're doing it to make themselves not feel bad.
right, because they've already made it super awkward and uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, on my side, when I was young, I would like, oh, what the hell? Someone's trying to make fun of me, and now,
Super chip on your shoulder, probably. I would
yeah,
imagine because
yeah,
people probably
okay,
did. So I think that's just the
yeah.
nature we live in with people our age.
I've got other problems to worry about myself than this now. So,
I,
I,
you have kids
with
and a wife and cats, and you have things that it's so
yeah,
much bigger than that.
I've got other stuff that maybe not want to be a downer about. So, this is a minor thing compared to that. So.
I
I'm
wasn't going
not.
to bring any of that up. I wasn't sure how comfortable you were, so
I am absolutely comfortable with
good, because
it.
that's how we're going to
It's,
end. That's how we're going to end the interview. I'm going to cut all that crap out. This stuff right here that I'm talking about. But that's how we're going to end it. Is I wanted to lead in, and I wanted to know if you were interested. I wanted to make sure I didn't want to call out your
sure.
because that's awful when
No.
people do that and they don't ask.
Oh no. I'm all good because I've raised lots of cash. So
So, to that end, there's also something special that you guys don't know, you may or may not know regarding Stone. And Stone is avid in the ALS community,
yeah,
and there is a personal reason that he is such a speaker for it. He's raised a lot of money over just even the last few months. He streams for it, but it's a little bit personal, and I think that this is one of the reasons why I felt like it was important that the PDQ consider you a legendary spotlight, because I think that that's another thing that's inspirational. We don't always have to be inspirational because we're breaking records and we're PvPing and we're the top of the raters. Sometimes inspiration comes in the
yeah.
oddest ways. So tell us, give us your story regarding ALS and why it's so personal to you.
I would say about 12 years ago because I played net and lots of people firing pucks at me. About 12 years ago, suddenly I started playing slower, and I'm like, well, I'm like 28, man. I'm not like what the heck, right? So I went to go get checked out, and they don't know what's wrong. So after 4 MRIs, about $56,000 worth of uh, G that didn't work. Thank God I live up here because that would have killed me. So it was all paid for. and that never worked. They finally sent me to a hospital, and I'm gonna make lots of noise because that's what I do. Because I'm not pro, and I'm making Belle's eyes twitch, and she's like, "What?"
That was a wink. I was winking.
And basically, I had one guy tell me that he's never seen this before, and he's not sure what's wrong. And do I have a will? And I'm like, what? And yeah. And then we tried all this stuff. It didn't work. And then he sent me to another guy who is the lead researcher for ALS. And he's like, oh, I know exactly what you have. And I'm like, okay, well, what? Because we didn't think it was going to be ALS, because usually when you get that, you are going to go within 2 to 5 years max. Okay, so you go really, really quick, and there's like no cure or anything. So and here I've been living with this for like, I would say by that time, I found out like 2013. So a good 9 years or so by that time. And he's like, yes, so you have it. However, you are one of a handful of people where it's really slow. So, it's good and it's bad, right? So one, it's great because it means that I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So I get to watch the kids grow up and all this, possibly live to see some kind of treatment or
Medical
something.
breakthroughs, right? That we're hoping.
Yeah. The downer, though, that I keep trying to not dwell on, but it's always there, is that as I go, these symptoms will last longer, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to feel that, and so I can't work now.
That's just old age. I don't know if anybody told you,
No.
but we're old, okay? On the scale of young and old, you and I, sir, we are right here in this realm of old. I have gray eyebrow hair, okay?
Old is only up here. I'm 40.
I feel like I'm 102.
Oh goodness, I'm turning 12. Okay, because I still laugh at fart
Can
jokes.
confirm. I partied with you last year. I can confirm that.
The fart jokes are funny. So, so it's just one of the things that we've dealt with, and we're lucky in that I'm not gonna croak anytime soon. I wish sometimes that luck would translate into winning lots of money.
Right, lottery.
What? That would be great. But I try to, now I try to do as much as I can to raise money to fund stuff like that, and fund research. So we did a 24-hour stream in June.
Yeah, in June. I gave to that. I don't know if I gave a lot, but I did. Any bit helps, you did. And I thank you for it. I set my goal low because I was like, well, right. And I don't know. And it was almost immediate where everyone's just like, here. And I'm like, holy crap. And there was a fairly emotional time because I was like, some of the people were like dropping loads of cash. And I was like, holy crud. People care.
And yeah. And that's how I felt, was that, not everyone can give, which is okay. But I felt, everybody that did gave, and because they could, and because they wanted, did too, right? And so that made a little bit teary during the stream, a little bit.
So you mean to tell me you have...
Yeah.
People would argue you have odds stacked against you. I'm optimistic in that regard, where I don't view there's any odds in this scenario. I see you as the winner in the jackpot situation here. you have become a source of inspiration for a lot of people that I know. And in that, not to me, I'm going to make you feel weird again here. I know it's really difficult when we get compliments and stuff, but you, and for those of you that are watching, Stone is a delight to know. And if you are interested in the WOW challenges things, I encourage you to get on board. I encourage you to reach out to Stone, tweet to him at WOW challenges, tell him how he has changed you, made you better. Maybe you love him, maybe you hate him. Maybe you just want to dance or do the cha-cha, or maybe you just want to have tacos with him. I want you guys, if you're watching or if you've read the article here on PDQ, I want you guys to tweet to WOW Challenges and tell him how this helped you. So that was my little speech I wanted to throw in there for people. So tell us what's in the future for WOW Challenges to kind of round this out.
Oh boy. We are kind of working on a raid challenge, but we need to write it. And we're in testing, but we haven't done much with it because over the last 2 or 3 months, we've been doing all the new stuff and getting
for sure.
new things. A very kind fellow by the name of Thule basically won a item to get a website redone, a website made, and gave it to me. And that's like a huge. Well,
it's really weird if you knew a person that did these kinds of things.
No.
That person could have done it for you a long time ago, because the person that does these kind of things for a living.
I was thinking about it because I really hate how the site looks now, because it couldn't grow. Like there was just no room for it to grow, and I was like, oh no, we need to do something else. So we're actually working on helping on giving pages where it will show what to avoid and all this stuff.
Oh, like guides and stuff on how to map then?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky in that it kind of feels a little bit like we're helping folks, whereas this is supposed to be you learn on your own. But I kind of feel like, this is the website and we've always been helping folks, and I kind of feel like it's not going over the line.
For sure.
And it's not like saying, I guess it is just more like a forewarning, but you could go to any other website and go find that out yourself.
But this is more for the challenge itself, though. So it's in the spot. You would need to go look for it if you're doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's the timetable you guys have on we're looking at?
No idea.
But it's in the works. It's going.
Yes,
how can people reach out to you to, maybe they want to volunteer their time, maybe they want to assist, maybe they want to test? How would you encourage people to reach out to you on your Twitter?
Yes. For the raid one, I'm not ready to get other folks to test yet because I'm very picky with how things look.
That's why you and I get along.
So it's not ready for folks. The other to help out with zone guides, I would say tweet me at WOW Challenges. I'm on there. I'm looking at tweet thing right here. It's my other screen. I've got 3 screens, bells right here, right in the middle.
My big forehead.
See, I don't think it's that big.
I think it's ginormous.
No, I don't think it's that big, and it's funny that you say that. You think it's ginormous.
Yeah, I just see it's a small forehead.
But no. There's all these things that people think that there's wrong with
perception, right?
And it's not, and it doesn't matter.
Perception.
Doesn't matter. I've got a big nose, and
I've embraced it. You could land
a 747
here, and I've embraced it.
Oh my goodness. Embrace the forehead. Okay.
So, I personally want to thank you for honoring me with being able to sit down with you and to give me your time. I know that your time is very precious, and I am honored that I get to be the one that does this write-up, and I get to highlight you. And I think that that really made my I don't know if you call this a career because we do it for volunteer purposes, but it did make my career to be able to sit down with you. I've always been Team Stone, you know that. I've been WoW Challenges since the day I met you, but you give back and you continue to put into a community that it's a family, and you are an inspiration. Even on our bad days, right? We're not always at our best, but you're an inspiration, and that matters. So if you guys like what you saw here and you want to tweet to him and you want to tell him how awesome he is, if you want to tell him Belle sent you, tell him the PDQ sent you, say, hey, I would like to get involved with what you're doing, or maybe I just want to come stare at you awkwardly while you're doing your live show. How can I do that? So your Twitch is twitch.tv/WoWChallenges.
Yep.
And then they can find you at WoW Challenges, and then you're in the middle of the revamp for WoWChallenges.com. I want to thank you for giving me the honor of giving me some of your time on this great evening.
The honor. I think the honor is more on my side.
No, sir.
No. Because, like I said, when I first saw you guys, I was like, wow. Yeah, it was
There's
like
a bunch of jerks.
No. And so, and I know that, and I know how you work, and I know that you're busy. So to do this, I was like, wow, she's going to do this with me. And I'm thinking, oh, there's better people you can do this with.
No,
that's for sure.
Not at
Absolutely.
all.
Well, you can say that. I'm going to say my thing. And, so thank you for having me on, and, and I'll buy you a beer at BlizzCon.
That's what I'm talking about. I already have to wear a dress. See that face? That's not the face of happy. That's the awkward face. But we are going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like, go ahead and give the video a like, give us a comment. If you're new to PWNCAST, don't forget to give us a subscribe, and make sure you go over to WoW Challenges and check him out. Not awkwardly, folks. Let's not make this weird. But check him out and see what he's doing over there. Go do an Ironman challenge. Challenge yourself to be better than BOAs. Go do something with your guys' life. Guys, we're going to get on out of here. Thanks. I just like to sit there awkwardly